welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Pauper, and this is Dimir Terror. I'm playing Pauper in preparation for MagicCon Chicago. The MagicCons offer format cups where you get to play your favorite format and be the champion of that format for that MagicCon. Most of the major formats are represented. There's Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Pauper, Legacy. And while Legacy is what I normally do at MagicCons, I have a conflict in my schedule, which has put me into the Pauper Cup for that event, which means I have to study Pauper. This is a format that I played a lot in the past. We used to have a local game store that ran Pauper every month for serious prizes. I have an Alpha Lightning Bolt in my collection that I won for winning one of their Pauper tournaments. That's the kind of thing they were giving away. It was a serious steal. And that store stopped running Magic events, and now I don't play it very much. I love the blue cantrip counterspell decks in the format. That's just always been my sweet spot. I see, according to MTG Goldfish, that Mono Blue Fairies and Mono Blue Terror are both ranked higher in the metagame right now than the blue-black or blue-red builds are. But I prefer the option to do stuff. Like, I just think cards like Snuff Out and Lightning Bolt are so powerful that I'd rather play them if I can. Just give myself more options to do stuff than, like, the card pool that Mono Blue offers. And I'm going to try stuff, and I might end up Mono Blue, but I want to start with Dimir, because I really like Snuff Out. Like I said, I really like Unexpected Fangs. Sneaky Snacker is a cool card that I have not played this deck since it was printed in Modern Horizons 3. When you draw your third card in a turn, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This is a self-mill deck anyway, with mental notes and thought scours. You're trying to fuel your terrors and your Gurmag anglers. If you just get a card along the way for freezies, an evasive threat, that's awesome. Brainstorm triggers Sneaky Snacker by itself. Your deck's full of cantrips, Mental Note, Ponder, Thought Scour. Deep Analysis triggers it by itself. Lorien Revealed triggers it by itself. There's a lot of ways to draw cards here. Even Suffocating Fumes cycles. If you just like draw for your turn, Ponder, and then cycle Fumes, your Snackers are back. Really cool stuff here, and I'm just going to try it, see how it feels, and see if this is what I want to be doing in Chicago. I'm on the play in round 1. I'm going to keep my hand. I have black. There are only 6 black sources in the deck. They can all be tutored with Lorien Revealed, and you see a lot of cards with your cantrips, but it is nice to just have it ready to go. Double Terror is a little awkward, but I do like being able to hold up Counterspell or play to the board on turn 2. And if I get these Terrors unlocked, I'm going to turn the corner very quickly. A Plains. And a Thraben Inspector. Okay, so this is probably some kind of bounce my own cards for value strategy. I'm actually going to play out the Snacker, because I would like to be on board versus a deck like this and chipping for damage. They generally have inevitability over you. Okay, the triple Thraben Inspector start. Let's go. I am going to block this because I'm going to cast Brainstorm, likely in the next turn cycle anyway. Gurmag. Okay, I am going to Brainstorm. Found the land. I'm going to put back Gurmag. Suffocating Fumes. If they have something like Battle Screech, like I don't actually know. This is part of why I need to start practicing. I don't know what Plains triple Thraben Inspector means right now in the format. I think I'm going to float this Suffocating Fumes on top, and I can decide if I want it or not next turn. But I'm holding up Counterspell. My Snacker's already back. We've played 3 turns with this deck, and I've already triggered a Snacker. That feels good. Journey to Nowhere. Well, this will exile my card forever. Not really interested in that happening, and I am interested in filling my graveyard with spells. You get your damage through. I am going to cycle Lorien Revealed here. Get rid of that junker that I don't need. Ponder, alright. We love a Ponder in this house. Aquifer, Spell Pierce, Gurmag. I could take Spell Pierce. The problem is I don't want Gurmag and Aquifer, even if I do want Spell Pierce, so I'm going to shuffle this. Another Lorien Revealed. I like it. Okay, I'm going to pass. My Brainstorm gets back Snacker again. Idyllic Range. Okay, well, I can't beat that anymore. It's a 2-3. I'm still probably going to cast Brainstorm here anyway, so I'll block. Straight up snacking it. They do have Battle Screech. Okay. I'll Brainstorm and respond, see if I find Spell Pierce. I did not find Spell Pierce. Put back. Okay, so I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spells in my graveyard. I'm just going to rain terror down upon them. Put back Island and Deep Analysis. And I will play 3 terrors next turn. Yeah, now I feel silly for bottoming that Fumes. But this is why we practice. Island Cycle. Get a basic. Ponder. That's like free. Ponder. If I can find Fumes, I'll do that. Counterspell and a 4th terror. Oh my goodness. Well, do not shuffle. I am going to attack. If they trade one of their birds for this, that's great. If they don't, it's just damage. All right, folks, here we go. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Are you terrified? The gang's all here, with Counterspell on top of my deck. Maybe I'm supposed to leave back the flyer just in case there's some cheese happening in the air. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and Vig until end of turn. Okay, well, definitely wish I hadn't chipped for 2. That doesn't matter, and it might kill me that I did. Okay. Yeah, that attack for 2 was just a mess. These things hit in chunks of 5. Now I lose. Was I going to lose anyway? What a crazy card. Okay, if I attack with everything, they have to block one of them. And they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage coming through in the air. I could block one of these, and then they just need literally 1 damage to get through on the ground. Okay, if they just don't block, I lose. Yeah, this attack was really bad. Another card that I've never seen in life, and this is why we practice. I'm going to say that a lot this league. If they spend mana on some spell instead of just buffing the squad, that's a way I could get away with this. All right, when Rafine's Informant enters, it connives. I think that's fine. Discarded Prismatic Strands. I don't love that, but I do have the counterspell. Core Skyfisher. That is a flying blocker, but I have to save my counterspell for the Prismatic Strands. Picked up their land. Okay, so they did do too much and tapped out of Unicorn buff. They're probably still going to win. But they did play spells instead of not playing spells. I'll trade with one of the bigger birds and go to my turn. I'll mental note myself. Well, I'll mental note. You don't target yourself with this one. Okay, Suffocating Fumes right on top of the deck. Should have mental noted them. All right, now I just have to hope they mess up because I'm dead on board. If 2 of these get through, I win, but they have so many blockers. Yeah, they don't even need the Prismatic Strands. Okay. All right, much was learned that game. Good to know. Suffocating Fumes is good. I'm going to bring in the Arms of Hadar. That's like Fumes, but more. And Unexpected Fangs looks good for racing. Murmuring Mystic lets me turtle up and actually engage with a bunch of flyers. I actually don't know that I like Gurmag and Terror that much here. Snuff Out might even be mid because their creatures are so replaceable. If I'm not sweeping, what am I doing? Though, if I cut Gurmags, the Fangs get worse that I just boarded in more of. Yeah, maybe I'll leave in 1 Gurmag, cut another Snuff Out. Which of their creatures are worth 4 life is the question. And the answer is basically not many. We have seen Battle Screech and Prismatic Strands that Nile Spellbomb affects, but Counterspell affects that too. Okay. I think I'm going to try it like this. Oof, this hand is not good. This is like last game, except last game I had 2 Brainstorms, and that's the difference. I'll mulligan this. Okay, I'm in. Keep, bottom an island. I'm going to island pass here. Inspector. I will Thought Scour myself. It was a joke to target them. They have flashback cards, and also my deck wants these things. Ponder Spell Pierce. Is there a card they're going to play on turn 2 that I need to Spell Pierce? I don't think so. Snacker, Gurmag, Terror. I don't have to draw all of these, because I could cycle Lorien. Okay, I'm going to put Gurmag on the bottom, Terror in the middle, Snacker on top, and I will not shuffle. I'll draw the Terror, then shuffle away the Gurmag, I think. If they come up with Graveyard Hate right now, that would be annoying. I could Spell Pierce it in the future. Or Skyfisher, okay. Snacking. Spell Pierce that. I want it to stay on a journey to somewhere, which is right here. I don't think I block here because I can't trigger this right away. In the future, Suffocating Fumes could win a combat with my Snacker. The Inspector's back. I'm going to cycle Lorien Revealed in my upkeep. I don't want this Gurmag, or do I? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. No, I don't, definitely. Island Cycle. Draw a fresh card. A Terror. We like Terrors. Terror costs 3 right now. I will jam it in there and start pushing damage. My best case scenario is they Battle Screech to try to turtle up and then flash it back, and then Suffocating Fumes just ends their life. We're in their team. And they chipped in with the Core Skyfisher. What could go wrong with so many blockers? Gurmag Angler. Okay. Suffocating Fumes. Zoop. Suffocation. No breathing. Okay. Can't cast Terror yet. 1 spell short. Opponent is under the Serious Gun now, though. The Unicorn is buff the squad and attack. Okay, now they're screeching. The second Screech is definitely an issue. I do have more Fumes in my deck. Agony Warp. Okay, this can kill this Steadfast Unicorn. I could just attack, see how they block. Okay, I'm going to attack with both. They just took it. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm at 1 on board if I play Terror plus Gurmag. I could save the Agony Warp, or I could warp this Steadfast Unicorn and play a Terror. I am impressed how much I care about this stupid Unicorn. Sweet card. I could play Terror and hold up Agony Warp. That would kill Core Skyfisher and blunt one of the other threats. Okay, I think I'm going to hold up the Agony Warp. Because if they commit all their mana to buffing the squad, that could result in a blowout. Or if they don't come up with the 12th damage. I guess the 12th damage is literally on board because I have 1 blocker. Okay. If I'm going to do this, I have to do it now. That's not even true. I can minus the front of Core Skyfisher and minus the back of one of these other things. And if they just full send here, this is how I win on the backswing. Okay, just the Flyers are attacking. Oh, they fucking Vigilance. Yeah, okay. I'm glad I know how. I'm glad I bothered to read this card, which I obviously didn't. Okay, I'm going to kill the Unicorn and take 6 damage that I didn't need to take. Vigilance, folks. That's a word on that card. Okay, now I'm dead. That was bad. I need a Fumes right now. Terror is not it. Okay. Leave back my flying blocker and try to recoup this. There's always the purists in my comments who are like, why even make a video if you're going to make mistakes? I'm learning. Deal with it. Okay, I'm currently not dead on board. They can survive at 1 if their hand is nothing. If they have a removal spell or a pump spell, I'm dead. Just need the mono white to fail here. Raven Charm. All right, yeah, that kills my thing. And there's another buff. Okay. So mistakes were made in game 1 and game 2, both based on format familiarity. This Unicorn giving Vigilance. Those of you, it was Breaking Bad meme, just screaming in the back of the SUV as I mapped out that whole turn. Sometimes you just got to get hit really hard to learn a lesson, and I just did. Now I understand how this deck works. On to the next one. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, MagicCon, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play for round 2 with a pretty quick Terror that I could put Fangs on. That races a lot of decks in the format, and I'm going to go with it. I am going to play Ice Tunnel on turn 1 rather than just willy-nilly scour myself, because I do have a 2-mana black spell that might be relevant. There are both aggressive decks and creature-based combo decks near the top of the format right now, and having Agony Warp up might be useful. A Forest. Oh, Walls combo, gross. Alright, so you have to tap an untapped creature you control to do that. Yeah, I might just double scour myself this turn. Depends on what they play. Quarian Ranger. Would I prefer Quarian Ranger or Cerulean Caretaker dead? I think it's Caretaker. I'm going to warp this for both modes. the Ranger plus that end up with a lot of mana. Okay. I can use Thought Scour to clear the cards I put back off Brainstorm, but I currently like my whole hand. But if I Brainstorm into a Snacker, I'm going to feel really smart. If I Thought Scour into a Snacker, I'll feel even smarter. Terror, Scour, Island, Scour. Spell Pierces up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're in there. Yeah, that feels smart too. Just playing a 5/5 on turn 3. Walls is an infinite combo deck. It is challenging to execute that combo on Magic Online, but they won't really care about Unexpected Fangs is the problem. They're doing the Ranger trick, float a green, pick up the forest. Yeah, they're playing on 1 land here, which makes me feel good about killing the Caretaker. Mental Note. Okay, I'm going to attack with Tolarian Terror, and then I'm going to Mental Note and probably play Gurmag. Ooh, I drew Counterspell. That might be better. Okay, I'm going to pass with Counterspell available. If they're struggling and taking damage in chunks of 5, this is the type of spot that I can squeeze with a counter, a hard counter. Axebane Guardian is the best card in their entire deck. I will be countering that. That is their infinite combo. Also with 2 Quirion Rangers, it can make like 9 mana in a turn, even when it's not infinite. They're chipping back. Warrior Revealed. Okay. Now I know Unexpected Fangs is not important for the matchup. Okay. I could get them dead real quick here. Put back Fangs, and I don't think Snacker is going to help much. Fangs and Snacker back. Cycle Lorien Revealed. Get an island. Attack for my 5. And I don't think Spell Pierce is going to be important. I am just going to slam 2 5/5s into play and let them face 15 power next turn. The cool thing about Thought Scour and Mental Note is you draw the card after you mill. So if you hit a Snacker just randomly on your second Thought Scour of the turn, you get it into play right away. Love that interaction. That's what I enjoy about Pauper, is those fun little interactions where it's like mill over a Snacker, get it back, or pick up Spellstutter Sprite with a Ninja. That's all I want to be doing in this format. I understand like the burn decks are really strong and stuff, but who cares? Gurmag Angler, 15 power versus your 10 life points. Let's play. Most of the cards in this deck are creatures. They play like Winding Way and Lead the Stampede. That can be Spell Pierce, but if they spend their turn doing that, they're just taking 10. Quirion Ranger trick. Shieldwall Sentinel. This tutors for a defender and puts it into your hand. I remember this from Dominaria United draft. They got Overgrown Battlements, so they're still trying to find a spot where they can go off. And they do have a Wall of Shitters here. They're going to lose at least one of them now because they can't take 10. They have to block one of these creatures. The second Quirion Ranger's not doing a lot right now. Yeah, there it goes. Or no, they have to block 2 of these. Right. That's how multiples of 5 work. Okay, I'm going to deeply analyze myself. I don't think Spell Pierce is going to be the game difference, and if I draw a land, I get it anyway, which I did. Yeah, they're just in the double abyss. Now they're in the triple abyss. They need 3 blockers every turn until they die. It is very satisfying to play a deck with Counterspell and Brainstorm in it that feels like it's doing something versus Walls combo. Like back in the day, we had to win 1, 2, or 3 points at a time. Ooh, Tinderwall. All right. A Ritual with like Spellstutter Sprite and Ninja the Deep Hours and stuff. And now it's now we get 5/5 so we can play on turn 3 sometimes. Like Ninja the Deep Hours does nothing against this board. Spellstutter Sprite, super slow. But that's not the world we live in anymore. We've had Gurmag for many years, but Tolarian Terror is relatively new in this scale of Pauper, even though the card is several years old at this point. A Orochi Leafcaller. That is how they turn their Overgrown Battlements mana into blue cards that win the game. I might need some interaction, like a Snuff Out or something. Ooh, Suffocating Fumes. That's insane. That actually kills 3 things against the deck full of walls. Boom, you're dead. Yeah, this kills 3 blockers. They only have 2 left. If they even somehow survive this turn, they'll have no permanents, no non-land permanents. Cool. All right, that was nice. Okay, don't need Unexpected Fangs because we're not racing damage here, unless you want to play to the Moto Clock, which is, it's not scummy. And in a Premier event, I think it is reasonable to make your opponent play out the deck that they chose to register. In paper, it's completely irrelevant, though, and that's what I'm preparing for. So, and also, this is a Moto League where I'm not trying to time out my opponents. Okay, Arms of Hadar, Suffocating Fumes. I'm just thinking about things here. I don't think Murmuring Mystic's what I want. I have a bunch of blue blasts here. Sometimes the win condition in these decks is red. It shouldn't be in real life because the wall that ventures into the dungeon can kill your opponent without a third color, but on Magic Online, they frequently have some red damage outlet. Suffocating Fumes is not, like, good, but it did just kill 3 things. Definitely Agony Warp, just killing their creatures matters a lot. I can cycle Fumes in worst case scenario. Alright. I'm just going to bring in 1 Agony Warp. Oh, I guess I need another thing because I cut 2 Fangs. Another Fumes. Nile Spellbomb. Does this deck use its graveyard? Some creature decks have Reaping the Graves, I believe is what it's called. It's like a Raise Dead with Storm for 3 mana. Dispel, if this deck has interaction after board, that could be useful. I'm just thinking like the generic cantrips, guys. I can cycle Fumes or pop Spellbomb. Alright, I'll take Fumes. It's not irrelevant, and it's a spell I can put in my graveyard. Snuff Out, first appearance. This is a good matchup for it. Keep my hand. 1 of my 6 swamps is present. They mulled to 5, unlucky. Come on, Quirion Ranger, give me something to suffocate. The Caretaker's in. I can point Snuff Out wherever I need to. Another Island Swamp. Basically never need 2 of those. Quirion Ranger. Okay, so this is the same sequence as last game. Except now I'm ready to suffocate this Quirion Ranger. I just said suffocate, because I was trying to say Quirion before I was finished the word suffocate. Suffocation. No Ranger. Okay. I could develop Contaminated Aquifer this turn and just Thought Tower myself, or I could hold up Counterspell and make sure I don't die on the way up to Suffocating Fumes. I'm not really worried about Quirion Ranger as a standalone Magic card. Okay, Ranger Trick. They're playing on 1 land. Not that I can do anything to punish that. Winding Way. I am actually going to Counterspell that. That is potential draw 4 when they've mulled to 5. Suffocating Fumes, number 2. I think I'm going to brainstorm and see if I can come up with a different land, and I did. Okay. I'm going to put back Aquifer and Island, and then I'll scour both of those away, leaving up black just in case. Hey, Snuff Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can play Gurmag here, which will set back Tolarian Terror, but I'm okay with that. I'm excited to be on board. I can kill any non-black creature they play, and then Quirion Ranger gets swept up in the Fumes. Wall of Roots. I wish they minused that to make another Quirion Ranger. Am I just greedy? Am I a sick individual? Possibly. Yes to both. Okay, I'm going to suffocate first. I don't think they're going to block with their Ranger, but I don't want it to even really be an option. And if I could Stone Rain here, I would, so I will. It's pretty close to Stone Rain. Another Ranger. If only I had another Fumes in my hand. A cycle, Lorien revealed. Suffocation, no breathing. How many times can I make a Papa Roach reference in one Magic the Gathering YouTube video in the year 2025? Yeah, okay. Well, when your opponent mulls to 5 and can't keep a permanent in play, a 5/5 gets it done pretty quick. Not bad. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round number 3. I'm going to keep my hand. I have double Snuff Out Suffocating Fumes ready to go. If they're a creature deck, I'm so prepared. If they're a red aggro deck, the Snuff Outs are a little wonky, but might still be worth it. And I do want to get the tap land in and the Snuff Outs online rather than just mental noting myself. Arbor Elf, that dies to Suffocating Fumes. Do I have time to suffocate is the question. Okay, mental note. We'll do that first. Another mental note. I'm going off. If I hit a snacker, it's in. Shit. All right. I am actually just going to snuff this so it doesn't ramp into a Stone Rain. I just don't really want that to happen, even though I would prefer to hit it with the fumes. Maybe they'll just play 2 Arbor Elves this turn. Okay, I did just fade potentially 1 Vuli Acid Moss. Okay, Contaminated Aquifer, pass. Wild Growth is spooky. Against whatever they're doing, I want a big creature ASAP. I don't really like my position of shredding water right now. I'm going to cycle the fumes immediately. Thought Scour. Gurmag, we did it. Scour myself. Deep Analysis in hand. I prefer that to be in the graveyard, but I won't complain. Okay, Gurmag Angler, casting it with a little extra mana to make sure my Tolarian Terrors are 1 mana if I draw them. They've got 5 mana, didn't do anything with 4. They have some Big O? Yeah, they do. Ooh, they introduced the initiative, which I can kill this thing and immediately take. Like that for me. I'm glad this didn't happen on turn 3. Okay, snuff this out. I will pay the life. Having mana up is nice. I get to tutor a basic land here, which are all islands in my deck. And I'm going to reveal Lorien. This does tap me out, but deck's full of gas. Let's go. This thing has 4 toughness, which means Suffocating Fumes plus Agony Warp could kill it if it comes back, unless they forge onto it. But I hope they lost well. Ooh, the 6 mana. Is this the Cascader? I do like these big top-end Gruul and Jund decks. Okay, it is the Cascader. It hit Arbor Elf. We did it. We dodged. They do get to take the initiative back, and we'll see where they put the counters, or if they decide to Lost Well. Okay, they are forging. Put it on Arbor Elf. Smart. Okay. I can take the initiative here for sure, but that doesn't necessarily get me out of anything. Like, I could also attack, they block, kill Boarding Party with Agony Warp, but then I'm at 1 from the trap. Yeah, we're in the danger zone. I think I'm going to Deep Analysis first and see what I find. I found nothing. Okay, great. So I am dead if I attack and in trouble if I don't. Okay, I guess I just have to go to 1, hold up Agony Warp, and they hope they can't deal 1 damage to me ever. Yeah, that was sick. The Boarding Party, the big crunch, taking back the action. Having more 5/5s earlier, or having even a single snacker in the mix, would have changed this game completely. Any haste creature, any burn spell wins the game. Any removal spell. Ooh-wee. All right, or all of the above. And this hit Eldrazi Repurposer. Okay, this makes a spawn when you cast or dies. Oh, if only I could read this card. What the hell, Magic the Gathering? Okay. When you cast this and when it dies. All right, yeah. I'm extremely dead here. Cool. All right. Little slow on having a body that game. This looks like a matchup where Murmuring Mystic is a sicko. We did see some red cards. I don't think there's enough red cards to bring in all of these, but I might want some. Spell Pierce does not seem very important. Everything we just died to was a creature. Fangs actually does look good. Suffocating Fumes will kill Eldrazi spawns and Arbor Elf. I don't know if that's enough. Agony Warp kills most things. I still like Snuff Out. This match might be too fast for Deep Analysis, but if I slow them down, then that is kind of what I'm supposed to do. I'll leave 1 in and bring in a Hydroblast. Is this Fumes better than a Hydroblast? It might be. There was enough hits for Fumes that I still think having 1 around is decent. Okay, here we go. Counterspell. I'll keep. Okay, I do need to hit a couple land drops. And Mental Note is a cantrip, but only kind of barely. It's not a selective cantrip in the way that Brainstorm, Ponder, and Preordain are. It's doing something different. It's Dark Ritual, basically, that cantrips. Which is still a powerful card, but it's not like Ponder. I kept 7. A Forest. Okay, no ramp card. I like that. Mental Note myself. I hit a land, milled a Terror, and a Snuff. Okay. I don't have black yet. Brainstorm helps. Counterspell is online. Malevolent Rumble. I'm not going to fight over that. Arbor Elf, Wild Growth, Utopia Sprawl are their options here. They took Utopia Sprawl. And I am going to Brainstorm in the end step. I could find Lorien Revealed or one of my many Thought Scours. Ooh, the Snacker. That does not trigger here because I've already drawn 3 cards. If I put back Snacker and Agony Warp, I could trigger Snacker. I think I just want to mill these things away. I'm going to mental note right now. I just don't have black to cast the Agony Warp anyway. And I think this is a turn where I'm interested in having Counterspell available. Or hold on. I have Counterspell available. Maybe. No, I'm actually going to Scour, then play Terror. I think that. Because they're not representing 5 mana here. They're representing 4. Okay, cool. And then Ponder gets my Snacker and my Terror. I am happier with this line. Okay, Snacker, Snuff Out, Thought Scour. Don't shuffle. Snacker comes back. I am missing the Swamp, which is something that can happen in these Pauper blue X decks that are just minimally splashing. There's the Sprawl. They could Pyroblast and pay the ward right now, if that's what they have access to. Writhing Chrysalis. All right, that card is powerful. It did not introduce the initiative, though. And I think I'm just going to pass with Thought Scour and Counterspell available. There is a Snacker on top of my deck right now. Maybe that means I'm supposed to Scour immediately. In case I draw another cantrip, then I'm still holding up Counterspell. Yeah, I think I was supposed to main phase that one. It would be really cool if I could read this card. Yeah, whenever you sack another Eldrazi, put a +1 counter on Writhing Chrysalis. So this thing can be heckin' large. This does have Secret Reach. It's like in the middle of the words on the card. Not going to fight over Repurposer. Chrysalis is 4-4 or 3-4. Yeah, starts as 2-3. This does not have Trample. Jewel Thief. That does have Trample, but that's okay. I have a 5-5 for that one. I'd love a Swamp. If I could just snuff out this Chrysalis, that would make my life a lot easier. Okay, this is a 3-4 that can become 5-6. So I'll block with the shitter. And I'm going to Thought Scour myself in the end step. I know if I Thought Scour on my turn, it makes it easier to get my 2 Snackers back, but I think having more mana is better. Scour me. Found Lorien revealed. I am going to cycle that immediately for one of the swamps. And that takes the pressure off the Writhing Chrysalis at least, which will quickly outgrow my terrors. Drew another Snacker. I really, really, really do not want the initiative introduced to this game, but they are starting to beat with a lot of action. I think I am going to play my Mystic right now, because Snuff Out makes a blocker and kills their biggest thing. And if they introduce the initiative, hopefully I'll have a flyer to take it back. Yeah, this is a bad spot to have to tap out, though. Not finding this swamp earlier is rough. They're cascading. Maybe don't hit the thing. Don't hit the big thing. They cascaded into the initiative, asshole. Okay. Like, there's not even another spell in their deck. Bah! Okay, so the options here were leave up Counterspell, hope to draw another land in the near future. I still have to deal with a 6/3 if that happens. Yeah, this is tough. If the Chrysalis attacks, they don't have a reach blocker. Does this have Secret Reach? I don't know. I can't read it. I don't think it does. If they just attack with Boarding Party, that makes the most sense. Oh, okay, everything's coming through. Okay, I'm going to block the Writhing Chrysalis and Eldrazi Repurposer. Like, this will make them commit some spawns, and then I snuff them. I end up taking 10 this turn. No, 13 this turn. Okay, 2 mana in the pool. I'm going to snuff this out before it gets any bigger. That gives me a 1/1 that can challenge the initiative. Cope. Though taking the initiative gets me my 6th land for Murmuring Mystic plus Counterspell. So I'm not even sure if those cards will win me the game. And they do have a treasure and 2 mana to still cast cards with. What was that? They cycled this. Reinforce 2. Okay, that gives something +2/+2. Alright, so my Murmuring Mystic's dead. Get the initiative. Let's at least pretend to fight over that. Yeah, they don't even have to cast spells to turn on my Counterspell. Okay, so I have a 5/5. They have a 6/3. I can make a 1/5 and a 5/5. They will get the initiative back, but I can leave the board kind of a mess. Those 2 cards in their hand, if they're literally anything, I'm smoked. All right. I just have to put stats on the board. That reinforced creature's sick. I was not playing around that. It also has Scavenge. One of these, two of these trample. Just deciding if playing Sneaky Snacker makes more sense than Gurmag Angler. So it's trade with this 5, 1/5 touches this, chump this 6, I go to 2. I'm not really winning any of these combats. And if they scavenge onto the trample creature, yeah, I guess I need the biggest thing I have. Okay, Gurmag's in, and I'm super dead. Yeah, they just outmuscled me. Missed my splash color long enough that the Snuff Out rotted in my hand to the point where it didn't matter. Also, this just boarding party hitting Avenging Hunter instead of Arbor Elf was a big swing, but that's what the deck's built around. They're tapping mana, which means I'm dead. They have the Scavenge. Okay, scavenged onto the smallest creature. Can I survive this combat? Okay, so we go to blocks. I can trade take 0. Yeah, I think I'm just dead to this trample. Trade take 0. If I chump here, I take 7. If I block here, I take 2 trample plus 6. All right, GG. Okay, I think I was not careful enough. One thing about Pauper and playing these blue decks that I do know intellectually, but I thought I could get rowdy and was punished immediately by a Cascade spell. But generally, patience is really important, and there are singular cards like Avenging Hunter that just break open games. And if you have something like Counterspell and you have the life points to maneuver through it, you probably should be thinking about that rather than thinking what could go wrong, LOL, YOLO, because this can go wrong, and it did. Okay, on to the next round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
I'm on the play in round 4 with a no-lander. I will mulligan this. This is a 1-lander with Lorien Revealed. I'll take it. Keep, and I think I put away Deep Analysis. That's a card you want to mill over and not actually cast. I feel the same about Sneaky Snacker, but what are you going to do? Could brainstorm it away and then mill it. A Great Furnace. This is top archetype in Pauper, the red artifact damage decks. Okay, now the real hero mode is Brainstorm, hit the land and cycle Lorien Revealed. Coward mode is cycle Lorien Revealed and then cast Brainstorm with the card. And I'm going to be a coward because against mono red, I don't necessarily have time to goof around. If my opponent played like a forest or something, I would probably have brainstormed there. A synthesizer, hit a land, the perfects, and now a goblin guide that doesn't even let me flip lands. I'm going to brainstorm here because I'm going to do it anyway and Snuff Out as a card in my deck. Hey, we did it. We play until the end of your next turn. Okay, I'm going to put back Terror and Counterspell. And I am going to snuff this Goblin Tomb Raider. It's going to do at least 4 damage to me as we play this game anyway. What am I holding back for? Snacker as a blocker. Spell Pierce to keep me alive for a turn until the counterspells can hold the fort, which is going to have to take a while. Actually, if I Spell Pierce this turn, Terror is castable next turn, so we might be in business. I want a Terror down as soon as possible. You don't beat aggro decks with removal spells. You beat aggro decks with creatures that are bigger than their creatures. They tried to end my festivities. I said no way. I hope they play a land after this resolves. Played around it. Nice. Okay. If they attack, I will block. Block. Not just taking damage forever. They get to flip their top card. They can play it till the end of their next turn. It is another Percussionist. Or, yeah, they could have played that and they didn't. So I assume they have mana for something, but Tolarian Terror is on the stack. If they're not main decking Pyroblast, this card's going to be good. Okay, they just didn't use the mana. They could have played the Percussionist last turn and didn't. That's interesting. Maybe like some sort of haste enabler, like if you played a spell this turn, something gets better. Okay. If you cast a non-creature spell, that does have the potential to burn me out. Yeah, there's the Koldotha Rebirth. I'm in the market for Suffocating Fumes. Ooh, they flipped Chain Lightning. That's a lot of damage. Fumes. Snuff out, oh my god. Well, that's gonna hurt, but this Kessig Flamebreaker is gonna be worth probably that much damage over the course of the game. Yeah, this is a matchup where being mono blue or blue red would be a lot more interesting. Like, I would have loved to have lightning bolted or scredded that Kessig Flamebreaker. Flame Breather? Breather. Okay, they're generating a 2/2 and they flipped a mountain. I am going to counter this Chain Lightning when they cast it, because these counter spells are rotting in my hand. I can't cast 2 of them in a turn anyway. If they get me with a Goblin Grenade, I'll take it. I don't think Goblin Grenade's actually legal in Pauper. Okay, they had another Chain Lightning. I'm at 6. They can attack me to 4. Yeah, Goblin Grenade was one of those cards that's like technically common in paper, but only exists uncommon on Magic Online. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Brainstorm, put back, Island, and Lorien Revealed. Okay, I get my Snacker back. My opponent has 1 card in their hand and a Mountain in Exile. I have 1 counterspell ready. That would kill me, so it must be countered, and hope their last card in hand is not Lightning Bolt. They're spending mana. Okay. Literally Lightning Bolt. Okay. A tight one, and now Suffocating Fumes, Unexpected Fangs, Agony Warp. Snuff Out comes out. Like, Snuff Out was way better versus the Walls combo deck than Lightning Bolt would be, but we just saw me take 8 from my own cards. And maybe it made sense, maybe it didn't. We'll never know. Spell Pierce is fine. Deep Analysis is not happening. I'm not casting that this game. I'm not taking 3 to flash that back. Hey, do I need another Fumes? A lot of their creatures are X2, and I'm bringing in all these ways to tangle. Counterspell's eventually important. I'm trying to make the game go a long time, so I think Spell Pierce is actually just worse than Hydroblast, and yeah, I'm just going to go for better cards here. Even though I think Spell Pierce is fine, I can do better. Oh, Arms of Hadar should be in. That's like Suffocating Fumes that actually kills their creatures. Yeah, maybe this 3rd Fumes is fine, or maybe Agony Warp is better as Fumes. Nah, I like Agony Warp. Let's try it like this. Another no-lander. You'll love to see it versus mono red. Okay, I will keep this hand and bottom. It might be Gurmag Angler. Okay, I'm going to bottom Gurmag Angler. And I'm going to start with a Ponder. Mental Note Arms of Hadar. Okay. I can get a Snacker into play next turn. Okay, Snacker, Arms, Mental Note, don't shuffle. It's a little underwhelming, but I think it's okay. I get access to Arms of Hadar. I draw Arms, Mental Note, Thought Scour. Snacker comes back. And I can cycle Lorien, play Terror, hold up Hydroblast next turn. Percussionist. I go to 17. Galvanic Blast. Just doing it while I'm tapped out. Makes sense. I cycle Lorien Revealed. Get the Contaminated Aquifer. Terror costs 1. And I actually am going to take a turn off that to make sure that my Hydroblast works. And I'm just going to turtle up here. Now I don't like giving them multiple cards, but I also don't want to be burned out. So I'm going to hold the Hydroblast. Flip the Mountain. I'd really like to find a Fangs. That's what I want to happen here. Epicure. Relic of Progenitus. Well, can't counter that. But my Terror's already down. Yeah, I think I'm just going to hold up my Hydroblast for the future. Brainstorm. I don't hate that. Just how do I use it? I think I'm going to hold it. In case my Snacker dies, being able to Brainstorm over top of a Relic of Progenitus is pretty dope. And they didn't tap their Relic. Not even going to work there. Every tap makes Gurmag harder to cast, so I think you should be using that if you plan to use it. Okay, yeah, they're just cantripping. Cool. I like that. It shows desperation. Another Synthesizer. I think now that they're starting to run out of cards, fighting over things like this, it makes more sense. And I still have a Hydroblast left over. I have the Arms that can clear their board next turn. Arms is a sorcery where Fumes is an instant, so it's not as free as I'd like. I think I am gonna Brainstorm in the end step. If I can Arms with Hydroblast up, that'll feel even better. Lightning Bolt. Sure. I'm about to kill all their creatures, so being at a robust life total makes more sense. Oh, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could just play a Terror next turn. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to put back Gurmag and Terror. Then I'm going to Arms and attack. Your creatures are dead now. They do get to flip. They hit a Kuldotha Rebirth. One of the better cards. I'm going to leave back Snacker and take a chunk out of 5 here. They have a Kuldotha Rebirth that can be cast this turn. Plenty of artifacts to target with it. Killed one of their blood tokens. Do they have a haste enabler? Another rebirth. Okay. Well, they held those back pretty well. God, did they have the route? Oh, I'm dead. Literally dead for Xaxes. Oh, these decks are so good. Turns out, countering that lightning bolt was a mistake. And thinking I could attack was also a mistake. Though they did have to flip that Kuldotha Rebirth. Like, if that was just a mountain, that turn doesn't happen. Ah, okay. Still, I mean, respecting the Pauper format, it's been a while since I played it, like I said, and I have, like, tapped out in some spots I shouldn't, or didn't kill a thing that I should have. These are all going in the memory bank to learn how to play the format again. But layering that, and I'm not making excuses for losing, like, I don't care about that. I care about learning and making sure I'm playing better when it matters. The turns where I took risks, they did flip Kuldotha Rebirth for exact damage off of a random flip. And in the previous game, they did cascade into the initiative creature when it could have just been like Arbor Elf or something. I'm getting max punished for small risks where taking, like, I'm not taking any big risks. I'm just getting max punished for small risks. And maybe I should be trying to close even the small risk spot when I'm playing a deck like this one. And filtering out when you just got beat because they had it versus when you did something that created a window to lose, or, you know, in round 1 where I just didn't kill that unicorn because I forgot it gave vigilance. That was just a mistake versus like a random flip off your deck and the last 2 cards in your hand happen to be another Rebirth and Bushwhacker when I'm at exactly 12. You know, what do you want me to do there? But, you know, mistakes versus got punished for a reasonable line, and figuring out which is essential when you're playing a deck like this one. I'm learning a lot. On to the last round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. On the play in the final round, I believe I'm 5 for 5 on die rolls. I'm going to keep his hand. It interacts. It has a snacker. It has all its colors available. Aquifer, go. There's not a lot of Pauper decks where you need to hold up Spell Pierce on turn 1 at the expense of your own development. Okay. The Fairy Miscreant. Looks like we're going to have a blue mirror where they are lower to the ground, but I have a splash color, and we'll see who is rewarded for their deck construction here. I'll trade this off so fast. The Flying Blocker means a lot here. Okay, block. There was a time on Magic Online where Fairy Miscreant was bugged, and it literally just drew a card when you cast it. Oh, wow. Okay, so they definitely have a ninja. They were hoping I wouldn't block, because they gave up a for-sure cantrip. Oh, I think that was kind of sloppy. Take the card. I'm going to play around ninjutsu. That's what the whole deck's based around. Like, I'm going to block. Wow, okay. That's really interesting. They definitely have a ninja, though, and we're hoping that I was an idiot. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do here versus a ninja. I'm just going to hold up counterspell and get ninjutsu'd. I can cast Deep Analysis next turn to get my snacker back, but that won't keep me safe. Oh, they don't even have a ninja? What's going on over there? Okay, nothing that happened last turn makes any sense now. Okay, I'm going to get this island and then go to my turn. Ugh. Okay, well, I'm going to tap out because it's not getting better. I'm going to try to get my snacker back and draw 2 cards. And if this flushes out a counterspell, whatever. Spell Pierce, you got me. Is it Spellstutter Sprite that they're holding up? What's going on over there? Okay. End of turn, they floated a blue and then just passed the turn with that blue in their pool. Weird. Miscreant's coming through. Still no ninja. Tolarian Terror. I like that one. I think I'm going to deep analysis myself from the graveyard, which does cost me life, but does leave up interaction. And I would actually like my snacker to happen this turn. Counterspell. All right. It would really suck if this gets spell stuttered. But we are slowly running them out of cards. Okay. Mostly fine. Sucks, but it's fine. They are dealing 2 damage a turn, and they're down to 1 card in hand. And I'm getting closer to turning the corner with my big O's. 2 damage. And this is the game they're playing. Oh, did they suddenly have an engine? Okay, there was a pause and block. The game they're playing right now is the game I was talking about before, where you have to win in 1 or 2 point chunks versus the 5s, which is helpful versus wall combo, but they have a bunch of replacement level garbage in their deck where I have 1 giant card that they can really choose to point a counterspell at. I'm not going to cycle Lorien Revealed. It's now a spell. And the snacker hopefully will stabilize me from here if they don't have a ninja right now. Okay, I'm at 11. That's still a pretty comfortable life total. Snacker's doing its job. I could brainstorm, but I think I want to save that for triggering my snacker. Good deep analysis. Yeah, I'm getting a deep analysis. I'll go to 8 here. Just having way more cards than my opponent's powerful. The Fangs! That's a plan. All its own. Instead, they're snapping my creature. I'm not ready for that. I could brainstorm in response or just let this happen. I think I'm going to let this happen and then just go to discard and dump the snacker. Yeah, clean up the snacker. This is 2 damage. If they have a ninja all of a sudden, I can snuff it out. Otherwise, I'll just end step brainstorm, which will bring back snacker and make my hand better, and I can shuffle with Lorien. I'm at 6, though. I do need to resolve and go to town with this Tolarian Terror before these last 3 cards kill me. This is where Spellstutter Sprite is completely busted. Nice. Okay, we're in. Put back Island and Aquifer. Snacker comes back. I am going to use Lorien as a shuffle. There's 4 spells in my graveyard now. 1, 2, 3. Terror's on the stack. I can fight over it with Counterspell plus Spell Pierce. We're in. Okay, this is where it starts to turn. I am going to turtle up and try to connect with Unexpected Fangs. I think if I connect with Fangs once, I win. This thing, target creature gets -2/-0. Alright, so they're going to make my snacker into a baby. Just a little baby. This doesn't fly, though. It's also not a fairy. I recently ordered a set of these in foil, because I play foils in Pauper, usually, and I've never played with this card, and it looks kind of bad, and we'll see if that turns out to be true. Of One Mind, that card's really good. But that's not what the game's about right now. The game is about connecting with Tolarian Terror, who has lifelink. Okay, the jerks are coming in. I'm going to block Spell Stutter, because that's the one I want them to ninjutsu less. They have found a ninja, it seems. Oh, they're snapping their own Brine Barrow Intruder. Okay. That's fine. If they're using, like, multiple cards just to trade with a creature that came into play for free multiple times, this is not a winning situation for them. You did it. You snacked me. Okay, now I'm going to go to my turn, where I have all my mana available to fight multiple fights. And I'm going to try to connect with the Fangs. Were these Fangs unexpected? They have to fight over this because my deck becomes unraceable, and a race is all they have going for them. They don't have a ninja, they don't have a card draw engine. The Fangs resolved, and I'm suddenly back to 11 and worried about very little. Aquifer, and it's a Gurmag time. Okay, I think paying 1 mana, which turns off double Spell Pierce, is worth it to keep my snacker in the graveyard. Snap is really good against Gurmag, pretty medium versus Terror, and they've used 2 of them already. Speaking of foiling out my Pauper collection, getting these snaps was not cheap. Okay, they're coming in for 2. If they ninjutsu, I will snuff the ninja. That's just how the game starts to fall apart, is if they start doing stuff like that. Just get a draw engine online. Okay, they're snapping. I'll have you pay the ward first, and then I'll Spell Pierce, and then I'll Spell Pierce again. This lets me keep my counterspell And Spell Pierce is losing utility as my opponent has 6 lands and 1 card in their hand. Pierce this again. I don't think there's a card in Pauper that can help them here. And they agree. Cool. Okay, I got pretty lucky that they didn't have a ninja at any point in that game. Like, one ninja the deep hours, and that game probably becomes unwinnable. Suffocating Fumes, this is what we're here for. Dispel counters instants, but not cards with flash, and half of their threats and counterspells are creatures. It's kind of annoying. The Snuff Out, you don't want to snuff any of their 1/1s, but a Snuff Out could help you win a fight versus a Spell Stutter. Like if they Spell Stutter for 2 on your 2-drop and you snuff, then if you're getting a 2-for-1 out of it, it's really good. If it takes a ninja off the battlefield, it's really good. The snaps are really powerful, to the point where I might even want to shave a Gurmag Angler. I just don't want that thing snapped ever. It's such a cost to get in. It doesn't bring in the ward that the Terror does. And I do like Fangs sometimes. I do like that it's a way to fully stabilize and pull it back, but I don't necessarily like maxing out on it the way you do against Mono Red. Deep Analysis was really important that game. It brought the Snacker back a bunch of times, fished a bunch of counterspells out of their hand, even if it costs the mana and the life. I think it's worth it. Maybe I'll go down to 0 Gurmag and do Terrors and Mystics, just things that provide value, even if they get bounced right away. Okay, I'll try it like this. I'm going to keep this hand. It's full of good cards, even though it only has 1 land. Fairy Seer with the correct old school frame. Good job, opponent. Strictly correct. Okay, Ice Tunnel, pass. This is a spot where if they have Ninja the Deep Hours and I have Snuff Out, it's worth the 4 life all day, every day. Okay, attack. I kind of actually hope they do have it. No block. Mana's being spent. Oh, it's the Moon Circuit Hacker, which means that Spell Pierce will roast my life. Still worth the try, though. It's going to be worth 4 damage. They have to have exactly Spell Pierce. And it's dead. Cool. I wish that was Ninja the Deep Hours so they couldn't redeploy Fairy Seer here, but I'll take what I can get. That hacker would have drawn a card and dealt at least 4 damage to me before I dealt with it. Oh, cool. I like this. Do I Scour first or Brainstorm first? I don't Brainstorm first because if I find a Snacker, that doesn't work. I'm going to Scour, then Ponder, I think. Scour. Come on, Snacker. No Snacker. Ponder. I guess I could have set up a Snacker with Ponder. Maybe that's better. Okay. Brainstorm, land. I'm not going to argue with lands when I'm sitting here with Suffocating Fumes in my hand and 2 mana to cast it. If they have a Relic of Progenitus to slow down my Terrors, that would be kind of shitty. No second Ninja. Okay. There's a land on top of my deck right now. I can tap out for Terror, but I'm not going to do that. I think I'll maybe Agony Warp in their end step, let them Spell Stutter it, then Fumes their whole board. Okay. Fairy Seer did its thing. Another 1/1. Let's go. Okay. I don't know if they would fight over Agony Warp now that they have 2 1/1s, so I'll try this Brainstorm, and if they Spell Stutter it, I untap and Wrath them. Okay. Land Lorien, go back. Cycle the other Lorien. Island. And I could Brainstorm again here. Just looking for velocity. I'm trying to make this tempting for them to tap out. Ooh, Snuff Out. Now I actually do beat a Spell Stutter Sprite with my Suffocating Fumes, but I don't beat a Spell Pierce or a Counterspell, which they're also representing. I'm going to put back Island and Aquifer, and I think I'm going to play Snacker and Aquifer this turn. Aquifer, Snacker. If I could just have a flying creature that's going to come back again and again. We saw how good that was in game 1. And if their answer is Snap, it's not a big deal. Or if they have nothing, that's even better. If they have a Murmuring Mystic out of the sideboard, I have Snuff Out for that. They might just be being patient on their counterspell for Tolarian Terror, because I am there. If they ever get caught slipping, it's Terror time. I'm going to block Fairy Seer, because I don't think they have a second Miscreant, and this one's better for me if they pick it up and put it down. Of 1 mind for 3 mana. Sure. They're down to 1 mana right now, but they do still have their land drop. Oh, you sucker. Alright. They got me. However, I have a land on top of my deck right now, and I'm going to wrath them and play a 5/5. Pretty good turn. Fumes. They got a card out of it. And Terror. Okay, 5/5 ward is down versus a stable board at 13 life. I can deep analysis to trigger my snacker. If they snap this, I'll just play it again for 1 mana. Bind the monster. Okay, so they take a bunch of damage when they cast this. Okay, that's fair. The old blue swords to plowshares. Or blue vendetta, I guess, is actually what it is. Okay, so my opponent takes 5, but this is functionally not a useful card anymore. Fairy Seer. This is a different Fairy Seer. The other one's dead. I just realized they've Fairy Seered like 3 times in this game, and I've never once checked if they, where they put the cards. They went top bottom this time. Another snacker. All right, I'm going to deep analysis for the first snacker back. I'm bringing snacker back. This is a lot of snackers, and I can just hardcast them next turn. I can snuff a ninja. I know I keep saying that, but it's really the thing that I'm most concerned about happening in this match. In blocks, moment of truth. All right, still don't have a ninja. Spire Golem, what's up? I don't know if that's forbidden sideboard technology or if that's normal, but that is old school Pauper shit, and I appreciate it. Snacker. Snacker. You know what I can beat in combat? Spire Golem. I'm going to save this deep analysis. I could just flash it back now, but I'm representing Agony Warp, and I assume these snackers are going to die at some point. Like maybe I triple block Spire Golem and they have 2 of that Brine Barrow idiot, and then my snackers all die, and then deep analysis brings them all back. They are getting in. A triple block right here. They need 2 interactions here, like snap plus Brine Barrow. Okay, they started to spend mana, then changed their mind. Now we're just in damage, and their big thing's dead. If they were sandbagging a Relic of Progenitus, that would be smart. Warrior Revealed, okay. I'm going to deeply analyze myself. Counterspell, alright. Do I want to shove a Lorien Revealed into this now? I kind of do. They haven't had a Spell Pierce for a while. If it's Counterspell, it's going to work anytime. And if it's nothing, this is so broken. Oh my god. We're in. Okay. The snacker is taking over, dominating. I will not be attacking with my untapped snacker. Even fanging up a snacker, funny enough, it could be enough to turn the race if we run the opponent out of goop. Okay, you can pay 2 to tap and stun something. Yep, cool. This is also a card I recently bought foils of, though I've never played with. They're going to stun my untapped snacker and chip for 1. They will be tapped out if they have the deep hours. No blocks. Something's happening. It's the hacker. And I'm going to snuff it. If they have Spell Pierce here, I might actually lose. Oh, wow. Dispel. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I'm at 2 all of a sudden. And they get to draw a card. This Unexpected Fangs is useful to me. I think I'm going to have to fang up a snacker and just accept that it's medium. I thought Scour first. Oh, okay. I like Counterspell. I'm going to attack with 1 snacker, and I have intentions of fanging it up. Okay, Unexpected Fangs. Just turn the race here. I go back up to 5, and now I can counter a snap on my absolute unit, my 3/2 lifelink. Oh, they're snapping that one. Are you trying to win the game right now? Well, I have Agony Warp, so that's not going to happen. Yeah, going for the blocker instead of the one that's actually winning the race is interesting. I have to play what I'm going to play in attacks, because if we go to blocks, they can ninjutsu out what I target. -3, -3. We know they have the Fairy Seer in their hand, and then there's 2 unknowns. I can beat 1 important unknown, but not 2 important unknowns. Snapping their ninja, that lets them pick up this thing to hit me with this thing again, but I don't care about that. Like, them getting to draw a card is good, but I have the mighty lifelink creature, so I'm winning the race. Though I guess they could stun that. Maybe I was supposed to counter that. Huh. Alright. It's fine. I'll have 2 blockers next turn, even if they do stun my lifelinker. Yeah, those are sort of like tiny little nickel and dime things that make these games so satisfying. Yeah, I'm just going to let them stun my lifelinker, and then I'll have 2 2/1s to block their 2/1/1s with counterspell still available. He's stunned. You got me in the stun. Oh my goodness. Well, that's just one of the best cards there is. Murmuring Mystic, Sneaky Snacker, Counterspell up, and even if they win the counter war, the Counterspell makes the 1/1. This thing is a unit. I do have to pay attention to, they didn't replay Fairy Seer last turn, even though we know they have one. We've seen Dispel and Spell Pierce as 1-mana interactions that they might be interested in. And they just scooped it. Had enough. Didn't find what they were looking for. Can't beat the Murmuring Mystic and the mighty 3/2 lifelink. Okay, a 2-3 result, but I 100% punted the first match because I didn't really understand the metagame or what was going on until it was too late. And then there were, in the other two losses, decisions where it's like, I could use my life total to turtle up, or take one big swing right now that if I survive, I'm way ahead. And both times I got max punished. Those I'm going to have to analyze. Like, obviously, just knowing what the White Weenie deck contains and fully reading the cards that I've never seen before, both would benefit me there. But the decisions to open myself up for one turn of weakness in a position where I think it is a reasonable bet to do that versus hold up Counterspell, make sure nothing can ever go wrong, and slowly bleed out, hoping that I, hit my 6th land drop for the Murmuring Mystic before I'm out of life points, basically. The Snuff Out looked really good in some matchups, like the Mono Blue and the Walls matchup, it was insane. And then in the Mono Red matchup, it was terrible. But you have Unexpected Fangs to cover. Mono Blue, we saw them kind of doing their thing, but then just like ran out of cards and got stuffed. But all those 1/1s, the slow nickel and dime damage, the fear of a ninja in every combat, I do like that play pattern as well. I'll have to check out the Mono Blue Fairies deck. Try that, see how I feel with it. See if the consistency of mana is worth the lack of Snuff Out, Pyroblast, Lightning Bolt, Unexpected Fangs, all the things you get with a splash color. This was fun. I like Pauper. I'm glad I have a reason to dig back into it for the next 4 weeks or so. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.